Oh, hello. September 2022 instalment of the Editor's Pick. The Editor's Pick aims to catch manufacturing and engineering professionals up with the latest industry news. My name is Phil Stebbings. My company is Coatings Limited. Today I'm welcomed by two guests, my fellow peers from Maiden Group community. Firstly, I have Steve Hardiman, Managing Director of Clivedale Fasteners, and Paul Stockhill, Managing Director of Amiga Spark. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I understand Steve will be talking us through the article "We're Not Out of the Woods," an update on inflation and the effects of the business sector, and Paul will be discussing his support for industrial candidate. So over to you, Steve. That's okay.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much. My name's Steve Hardiman, Managing Director of a company called Clivedale Fasteners. As the name suggests, we manufacture fasteners in the UK, which sometimes comes as a bit of a surprise to people. We've been going since 1939. I recently wrote a blog on our website, actually the 23rd of June 2021. And the reason I point that out is that that blog explained that we were heading into a massive inflation spike. On the same month, the Bank of England published a report which said that inflation was firmly anchored at 2.5% and would rise to 2.65% by June 2022. So that didn't really work very well. Basically, manufacturing's got a massive problem with inflation, despite what it says on the news, which is usually wrong. Input prices for manufacturing are up at 22%. And so basically all of our costs are going up. And of course, we're being hit by massive electricity increases. Our heading shop, the electricity used to be about £75,000 a year. For the next 3 years, it'll be £212,000 a year. So we've all got a problem, and unfortunately, we've got, and this isn't political, but we've got people in the in bays who frankly don't understand manufacturing, and so they've got to get this right. It's no good having any more interest rate rises, because all that's going to do is hurt manufacturing companies whose balance sheets have been absolutely smashed to pieces by COVID loans, C-bills, bounce back loans, various other things. So we've got to fight our way out of this, and the government has got to give us the framework to do it, which they, I'm a little sceptical as to whether they quite understand what is required for manufacturing. So basically, I believe inflation is transitory. It's the wrong kind of inflation compared with 1970, which was wage related. This is input related, and consequently, we are going to have a rather difficult time, but it is going to work its way out of the system. So what we've got to do is make sure that we get some sort of help, which I believe is going to be announced tomorrow, a £30 billion package for manufacture, well, for the non-domestic energy users, and let's hope they get that right. I think my final sort of thought on the whole thing is we keep hearing a lot about our friend Liz Truss wanting to stop us going into recession by sort of working our way through the current issues. I believe from the figures I've got, we've got something like only 22% of manufacturing companies export in the UK. And so there's a massive potential there for us to sell worldwide. And a lot of people say, well, we can't export. We manufacture fasteners, and we manufacture very basic fasteners, which are rivets, effectively. Not the clever rivets that are pop rivets, but the kind that went on the Titanic. So that doesn't bode particularly well. But frankly, if we can sell products to 38 countries worldwide, then I think there's a very good chance that everybody else can. So that's my pitch. I think we need some help. I think we need to get exporting, and I think there's a lot of potential within manufacturing.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Are you seeing a lot of competition from the Europe and Far East at the moment?
Quite honestly, the current situation has helped us enormously. We've got people coming back to us that used to deal with us in 2017, right back to 2006, some of them, because they went and got everything from the Far East. And now, not only can they not guarantee it, particularly if it's in China, who are still locking down, but also when they ship the product, instead of it costing £800 for a container, it's now costing up to £10,000 for a container. And so consequently, they've suddenly thought, I tell you what, let's try reshoring. And we last year had our busiest year ever. Basically our lead times went from around about 2 to 3 weeks to 16 to 14 weeks. 14 to 16 weeks rather. So, we've had a lot of new business, basically because of the situation.
Right. Yeah. I understand that you also supply the automotive industry.
We supply. We supply some products to the automotive industry, and again, tough time in automotive, broken supply chains, particularly the chip shortage. Lots of automotive companies, the actual manufacturers, they're having to cut their requirements simply because they don't have enough bits to make cars. And it's very, very difficult because nobody can plan. Because from 1 week to the next, it depends on what supplies they get of very scarce components as to what their build program's going to be.
Yeah, we are very automotive supply reliant into Plasm. We are seeing exactly the same situation now, where the main plants are just closing down at very, very short notice. Yep. Has Brexit had any effect upon your order book?
Well, Brexit's a bit of an odd thing because people always mention Brexit. I think if we hadn't had a pandemic, then I could probably answer the question more succinctly. Yeah. But basically, we're getting a lot of inquiries from Europe simply because of the same reasons that I've explained to you, which is because the supply chain is broken. Suddenly people are looking within Europe, and I mean Europe as opposed to the EU, so Europe and the UK, to see if there are any suppliers, and lo and behold, they then find us. So, again, our European supply or dispatches have gone up very significantly.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Steve. Now, over to Paul, who's Managing Director of Amiga Spark. Hello, Paul.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm MD of Agema Spark, precision engineering company based in Doncaster. We work in lots of different sectors because with things in the space station and aerospace, the gas and oil industry, plastic injection mold tooling, robotics and automation systems, even down to producing extrusion dies for Rice Krispies. So we go from quite a broad range of business sectors that we work in. I have been involved with the education system quite considerably over the last few years, being part of the inaugural people who got a UTC into Doncaster in the middle of the pandemic, and been going around and getting involved with training of young people for basically quite a selfish decision I made 9 years ago to get involved with this, because I need to backfill my workforce. The skills are just not there in tool making and engineering. The demographics are very bad currently, where my business itself is a prime example, where I've got 16 people and 12 of those are under 33 and the next one's 60. So there's nothing in the middle, and it makes for the longevity of the business. Sorry. The longevity of the business is quite dangerous if we're not careful. The intention is for me to try and find and get involved with the local area, the Sheffield City region and Doncaster itself. And one of the things I did was support the industrial cadets, which where it's a charity-based business that get schools involved in projects, collective projects like environmental things and green technology and things. So they give them briefs to be able to produce over a period of 12 months projects to be then judged at the end, where they can actually get bronze and gold awards for their innovation and things like that. So, and an introduction into the greater sort of educational systems that some of these youngsters come up with some very good, clever ideas that really need to be kind of moved on for the future. And part
are you finding that the government is helping you grow your business in this area? Or
the local,
is it?
Sorry. The local area, the Sheffield City region, have been very active in promoting education systems, and also the grants over the last couple of years have been quite welcome. What the government are doing for us currently is yet to be seen. I mean, they're just fresh into the new things, and I it's like everything when things changes at this level, lots of things change for us all. So it's yet to be seen whether they're going to come back and help. The as Steve said, the loans and the CBILS and things like that. A lot of, because companies wouldn't be here if we hadn't have done all of that over the last 2 years. Furlough, survive, helped us survive. But we've been fraught with the likes of the public sector pay rises they're looking for and things like that, where it's not going to make anything simple for us in the future. The government sometimes have been a rock and a hard place. You don't know where the help come from, but for sure we would have been in a dire place if we hadn't have had all that during the pandemic. I think we'd have been a lot worse than we are.
Yes. How will you find the energy costs affecting your business?
For sure, it's going to be a problem. There's no doubt about it. I'm sitting here smiling a little bit because I actually set my tariffs post Christmas for a fixed tariff till 2024. And I it wasn't for any good reason as to I had any insight to that. It just felt easier to do it than try and figure out what's going to happen in the future, because I had far too much on my plate at the time, and it just seemed a sensible thing to do. Because it allows me then to have a fixed point, know where I'm playing, and it was one of those things that it kind of never going to go down, is it really? Not nowadays, not where we're coming from. So it was a sort of a subconscious decision, not one made of anything big. But in essence, yeah, there's got a lot of businesses, a huge amount of problems. I mean, I am quite a high user of electrical. Gas is not so much; it's just down at winter heating, basically. But it will be traumatic if we don't get some government help out of this. And I just hope tomorrow's announcement is a positive one for everyone, be it domestic or business based. But both will make a lot of difference to businesses, whichever way it goes. You know, if you haven't got you've got employees that are literally can't afford to live, it will affect the businesses as much as anything as well. So it needs to be a lot done.
Yeah, we are the same here at Interplast Coating. We are heavily reliant on gas to feed our curing ovens for the paint finishes, and we are expecting a 400 to 600% increase in costs just on gas alone.
I guess from my point of view, I hope in 2024 it's all settled down and it's come back to a sensible sense. I'll have to wait and see for that one, I'm afraid. But yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you, gentlemen. I would like to say a big thank you to the Made-In Group for having us on Editors today. And thank you to my guests, Steve and Paul, for joining me. Please make sure to check out next month's Editors Pick, where the next editor will be talking to you through their top picks of the month. Thank you again.
Thank you, and good day.
Thank you.